Ho ho holy fuck, it's been a while. So sorry for taking so long. I had to keep on re-recording the video because it kept on crashing and I just got caught up with the holidays and whatnot. That being said, it's time I finally get into one of my favorite World War II RTS games, Call to Arms Gates of Hell Ostfront. Call to Arms was released in 2021, having been developed by WWII Studios and Digital Mindsoft of the Men of War series. I can confidently say this is the best World War II RTS out there of recent times, since I'm not gonna lie, in my personal opinion, Company of Heroes and the Men of War series have started shit the bed. And the main reason I believe this is both of them appear to be just way too fast-paced, and on top of that, the UI takes up almost every part of the screen, so you aren't even really playing gameplay as much as you're just clicking things and hoping it does something. Now, I'm not saying that's actually what it's like, but that's how it feels. It just doesn't feel intense and fun, it just feels boring and way too quick. Especially for the Men of War series, which seems to just be the FIFA of RTS at this point, having reskinned its game, selling the same exact content with a couple of minor changes. Call to Arms, on the other hand, seems to focus a little bit more on the realistic qualities, keeping things to their actual pace rather than having them zoom across the field at 100 kilometers an hour. And the progress the game has made in the past 2 years is amazing, with 2 new factions being added in within the first 2 years, as well as a lot more playability. And personally, I feel like the devs tend to notice what the most popular mods are, because I feel like some of the features that those mods add in are then later implemented into the game. And if this is working the way I think it is, then I really like that, because that means they're actually paying attention to what the community wants, not just what they want. Overall, I just support the game's way a lot more than I support where the Men of War series and the Company of Heroes series have gone, especially because they're pacing themselves rather than trying to take on too much work at a time and then slowing down progress. And when they do release updates, it's always very rewarding, like when they released the Liberation DLC, which adds in America, adding in a whole new level of content to the game that I really appreciated. And if you're one of the people who doesn't like DLC being used to push out content, then let me go ahead and assure you that's not what this is. While it is adding in content that you do have to pay for when you already own a game, the main game, Gates of Hell Ostfront, is in the name, Eastfront. It takes place between Germany and Russia, not between Germany and America on the West. And personally, I support paying for these DLC because it helps support the devs, and I really want this game to grow because it's one of the best, if not the best, World War II games out there currently. And I know I've been hyping this up a lot, so clearly I have to have some sort of evidence to back that up, right? Well, you bet your ass I do have evidence. For example, take a look at these tank destruction physics. I'm also going to demonstrate with the 38cm Sturmmorser to demonstrate how not only does the explosion affect the tanks, it can kill internal crew without damaging the tank itself. And when I turn the HUD back on, you can see there are a lot of tankman deaths, even though only 2 tanks were destroyed. That's because any surrounding tankmen who were sticking out of their hatches or were just close to the explosion were immediately killed because their bowels were turned to liquid shit. And another example of attention to detail is certain tanks carrying ammunition types can change how explosions work. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to use a Panzer IV F2 as well as a Panzer III Flame variant. And as you can see, the Flame variant Panzer had a fire effect left after it exploded. Not only does this create an effect because it carried a flame ammunition, it would actually burn anything around it, so infantry or lightly armored vehicles. And just for the hell of it, I figured I'd show off a couple of Katyushas as well. And having shown that, I can guarantee that this game has the best artillery and that you cannot prove me wrong when it comes to that statement. There's also plenty of things that you can do when it comes to playability, because you have campaigns, both single player and multiplayer, as well as campaign skirmishes, dynamic campaigns, and just regular multiplayer skirmishes with AI or players. My top two favorite are either the skirmishes with AI or the dynamic campaign, and I'll start off by going through the dynamic campaign first. The dynamic campaign is exactly how it sounds, making you the commander of your own army that you build. This is probably my favorite mode because not only does it let you choose what you research and how you attack, but it progressively gets harder as it goes throughout the years, starting out in early war, ending in late war. Furthermore, it gives you a lot more personalization with your units, because units from one battle will carry on to the next if they aren't killed. This is very important because it allows you to have veterans in your games, and veterans are a lot better than ordinary soldiers. They've had a lot more combat training. This will increase soldiers' personal health points and stamina, as well as make their overall accuracy improve, and this is really good for anything you're doing. And as for the battles themselves, the way the dynamic campaign works is it's an offense and then defense. So you choose which offensive mission and then you defend a randomly selected point. And I absolutely love this because this makes it to where you can kind of choose your own approach. Bum rushing a point, while it can be effective, is also guaranteed to lose something, which as you can see this LVT gets shredded by a 2cm flat gun, while you can also employ other tactics, whether it's slow and stealth or flanking maneuvers, to attack one point and put on pressure while you work around them to get them from behind. Another unique feature that is further enhanced by the dynamic campaign is the ability to repair and then actually use enemy equipment if it hasn't been completely destroyed. After every battle, in addition to the resources that you've gained, you'll notice that everything you captured is there waiting for you to assign. You can either sell them for an extra profit, or you can repair them and utilize them on the battlefield just as they were before. And I absolutely love this feature for the reasons like, not only does it add in a reason to not just run and gun and destroy everything in your sight, but it genuinely helps profit-wise and when it comes to changing how a battle could happen. Having enemy equipment could be very useful when it comes to life or death. And the best part is it's not only a thing that players can do, AI will do it too. This enhances the reason that you have the ability to destroy vehicles, whether it's an ammunition crate, a stationary gun, or a tank. It's just a small feature that makes it a lot more thrilling when there is a risk that if you do not properly take care of your vehicles, or whatever it is you're using, it can easily be turned against you. And when it comes to the defense side of Conquest, you'll usually be given 2 to 3 points depending on how far in the war you are, and losing all 3 will result in defeat. Defense is probably one of the most satisfying aspects of the game because you get to really see what all of your equipment does. You don't have to worry about attacking and watching this side of the battle and that side of the battle. You actually get a chance to sit and watch some of your resources go to work, which is very rewarding because it's nice to watch lines of infantry just getting mowed down left and right. Not to mention, I personally enjoy the utilization of engineers and the ability to build fortifications. It's just nice to watch these defenses that you made actually go to use. I also enjoy when my infantry just get absolutely fucking shredded and I have to send up a medic scrambling to the front lines to save them. It just feels so real. Like, it feels intense while also being a slow pace that I can keep up with. The other mode that I really enjoy is the Skirmish with AI, which allows you to do battle zones, domination, or cooperative. And the amount of maps that it offers makes sure that you won't be fighting on the same battlefield over and over if you don't want to. You can also choose what countries are involved and which country you're using, as well as how many AI and what their skill level is, along with the ability to choose which doctrine you choose to battle, allowing you to focus more on offense, defense, support, or really whatever your playstyle is. The best part about this mode is actually the battle itself, obviously. When the battle begins, you have almost no resources, and it starts off pretty slow, building up over time. After about 3 minutes, you'll start seeing enemy activity, and that's when the battle really starts, and it doesn't end until you either capture the flag or you run out of time. And that's why I love this mode, because it quickly devolves into absolute chaos as you're just constantly sending men to their deaths. I feel like this mode is perfect because there's certain times where you have to secure an area manually to make sure that it's done proper, while other times you'll have to set up a decent defense to make sure that the enemies can't get through and capture your HQ. And it tries to encourage both offense and defense by offering points that you have to capture in order to get extra resources. But my favorite part is the heavy use of tank combat. Typically, this turns the battlefield to where it's dominated by anti-tank infantry, vehicles, and weaponry. But the reason I love this is because not only is there constantly a big-ass explosion happening somewhere, it's just really satisfying to see the destruction physics as tanks constantly are cooking off somewhere. And as you can see, the tank bodies don't disappear, so the battlefield's commonly littered with just smoking plumes of broken steel. It's just a completely satisfying sight to see, and like, I really enjoy it. I fucking love it. And these battles go by quickly. At the beginning of this clip, the battle was 50 minutes, and by now it's already down to 4. I know this is obviously because of video editing, but believe me when I tell you, it actually felt like this quick when I was playing this battle. I genuinely had no idea that it had already been 50 minutes when the battle had ended. It felt like it had been just a quick 15-minute casual arcade shooter. The best part is at the end of all the chaos, and when the battle's over, you get this nice ending screen which recaps everything you've done. And as you can see, this was a large battle with nearly 1,500 infantry losses and almost 130 vehicle losses. Plus, they had team killed one of their own, which is just great to me, especially because that was the Russians. And on a quick side note, I would like to go ahead and mention the flags that it shows. And I'm mentioning this because it shows Germany, Hungary, Finland, Italy, and Japan facing off against Russia, America, France, Britain, and Poland. And I'd like to mention this because currently all we have is Germany, America, Russia, and Finland. And I could be wrong, but I do like this because it does kind of confirm that they'll do more factions. And this makes sense because, as I mentioned it earlier, they listen to the modding community, I feel, and the most subscribed mod is Valor, which adds in all the extra countries that I just mentioned. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and mention the best aspect of this game, which is the mods. These range quite a bit from, I shit you not, Call of Duty Zombies, to gore mods, difficulty enhancers, and censorship patches, which real quick I would like to go ahead and say something about this. So the reason why there are on censorship patches is because the developers themselves said they will not use historically accurate symbols, even though Germany has lifted the ban of the swastika back in 2018, I believe. The reason why is because even though Germany has lifted the ban, there are still several countries in the world that haven't, and the developers of the game want everyone to have a fair chance, which I feel like is a perfectly justifiable reason, and I say that's fair. I wanted to add that in so no one's thinking that they're censoring history on purpose, but it's that they're making sure everyone has a fair opportunity to actually play their game. With that being said, the mods make the game infinitely better, and one of my favorite is the Realism mod. This adds in new fortifications ranging from dirt mounds and watchtowers to concrete bunkers that you would see in Normandy. It also adds in a shitload of new vehicles like the Raketwerfer or the Maus. It also adds new units like the SS, and for your officers it adds in a major. But most notably is the V2 rocket, which is so fucking huge that it takes the game a couple seconds for it to realize just how big the explosion is. Ultimately, these mods have made this game 1,000 times more enjoyable for me because it just adds in a never-ending stream of content. The modding community is absolutely amazing, especially the authors of Valor, Conquest Enhanced, and the Realism and Authenticity mod. And while Call to Arms having mods isn't like a unique feature, especially for RTS games, I still have to point it out because like the mods make any game greater. And that's the whole point, because like Skyrim isn't a game that came out 11 years ago and is getting continuously milked. I mean, it is, but it's also a game that is basically a sandbox because the modding community has made it whatever I want it to be. And the same goes with Call to Arms, with things like the Call of Duty Zombies mod, or alternate universes to where Germany never lost the war, or even the Wolfenstein mod. Which unfortunately I forgot the mod page, I can't remember what it's named, but I know I've definitely seen it before. With all that being said, I highly recommend that you check out this game, especially before January 4th of 2024, because it's currently on sale for about $9 USD. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. That was Call to Arms, and let me know if you pick it up, especially while it's on sale. I highly recommend this for you and your friends. It's a very fun, strategic little game that allows you to either play directly in the combat or to just watch it happen. And if you're looking for more games of the World War II genre, or you just want to watch gameplay, then I definitely recommend leaving a like and possibly a subscribe, because I plan on doing a lot more of these type of videos in the future, and I'm trying to make sure that I cover things that I actually believe are good. And when I say that, I mean I believe the developers care about their game as well as the community. With that being said, my next video I plan on covering Postscriptum, which has been renamed to Squad 54 by Offworld Industries, who own Squad and have picked up the development of Postscriptum. Chances are that will come out after New Year, so I will catch you later, and until then, Happy New Year and be good people.